this is a passion topic of mine, one of my passion topics, because it's a fundamental for all of us leaders in any industry, right? Anything, any leadership role, everything is training. So communicate expectations, set those expectations, reinforce those expectations, celebrate those expectations, and then everything in between is training. Take that fear of it's going to take my job goes away. And it's like, it's actually made my job easier. If the goal is we're going to implement and roll out our chat bot with this level of AI, we know it's going to solve 5% cases up front, but it happens to solve 4, celebrate that 4%, right? Then set the target up next and just keep steady goals as you're implementing the AI. Don't try to hit the home run at once. It's my thinking time. It's the time I invest into myself, right? It's my time. Sometimes it's just 20 minutes, right? Today, after we wrap up talking, I'm going to just go run a mile and a half just to get that out because that's the time I have, right?
I'm Anand Nigam, your host, co-founder, and director of XEBO.ai. At XEBO, we are dedicated to transforming customer experience through advanced AI, empowering organizations to transform insights into impactful strategies. In today's podcast, we are exploring a pivotal topic that shapes the future of business operating in consulting. The future of leadership in BPO and consulting, navigating tech, talent, and transformation. To delve into this significant subject, I am honored to be joined by Andrew Rios, a seasoned customer experience leader with wealth of experience in BPO sector. Andrew has a rich history of building and leading global teams, having previously managed readiness and support engineers in North America before expanding into international markets. His experience includes developing interview processes, training programs, and KPI matrices to measure team success. Beyond his leadership roles, Andrew is passionate about coaching customer support leaders and job seekers transitioning within the customer experience support industry. He offers guidance on scaling teams, navigating post-production challenges, and building effective new hire training programs. Today, Andrew will share his insights on how technological advancements, talent management, and transformative strategies are redefining leadership in BPO and consulting areas. Andrew, welcome to the podcast Experience Beyond. And please add anything interesting about you which my audience could associate with. Please go ahead.
Oh, thanks for having me today. It's an honor to be here. Looking forward to a great conversation. Maybe a little bit. I'll share a tiny fun fact for those basketball fans out there. In about 20 years ago, at my local gym here, the 24-hour Fitness, I used to play basketball with Dennis Rodman. So on my lunch break as a knock engineer, I would go over there, and he just happened to also be working out and playing basketball there. So one of my claim to fame, I say, is I used to play basketball with an NBA player.
Awesome. That's awesome, actually, from basketball to BPO. What a journey, Andrew.
Exactly.
So let's discuss deep dive into the topic, which is very critical for the BPO sector with all the changes and tech innovations which are taking place. The future of leadership and consulting while navigating through tech, talent, and transformation, right? So you have been in the BPO and consulting space for over 2 decades now, leading teams from startups to Fortune 100 giants, with some leadership lessons that have stayed with you through every stage of the journey. So what are those leadership lessons that you would like to share?
Yeah, well, couple come to mind, right? I think I'll mention one when you're talking and partnering with the BPO. The first one is, I always say, treat them the same. Treat them as if they were your employees. And one of the things I was kind of brought up with, and my mindset was, the only difference might be the logo on the shirt and the paycheck. After that, everything else is kind of the same. So treat them the same with respect to accountability, communication. Don't box them out, silo them. Bring them to your team meetings, and everything that you would do with your onshore full-time employees, do the same thing with your BPO team and that BPO leadership. The other thing that I'll say that goes across managing any support team, any leadership role you have, is setting expectations and communicating those expectations, and then reinforcing them when they are met and then when they're not. And what I say with that is everything is training. Everything is training. So communicate expectations, set those expectations, reinforce those expectations, celebrate those expectations, and then everything in between is training. And if you do that, on top of what I like to say, a strong communication compass within your team and business partners, then you're going to be all right. And from there, everything will be good.
Oh, that's awesome advice. It's all about making them feel part of the ecosystem that you are in and not a separate entity.
Exactly. Empowerment,
which is
autonomy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And now with the evolution which is happening with all the tech and AI, which is disrupting the market. So AI, automation, and even digital transformation are changing things up. They are shaking things up in the BPO sector. From your experience, what is the biggest misconception that leaders have about adopting to these changes?
That you have to have it all figured out, right? That you have to have every piece of data figured out, that you have to have everything figured out before you implement a new piece of technology, specifically AI. You know, what I like to say is, have a goal, have a roadmap of what you want to achieve, and have small milestones that get you to there, and start small, right? And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is getting started, right? Because once you get started, the hardest part is over. If you set the goal, if you've designed your journey map, right, and you know your touch points and what you're kind of work on and achieve, then just getting started and iterating as you go, it sets you up for success. Right? Don't let that slow you down.
Yeah, so many times I have spoken to several leaders and they say that typically the employees, their biggest fear is that AI is going to replace them. So instead of thinking that AI is going to augment them or it's going to help them in executing their tasks better. So how should the leadership team smoothen the entire process of implementing AI with their staff? So what has been your experience around that? How they can ease this fear of, instead of losing, it's more fear of empowering you?
Back to the communicating and the exceptions, right? It all starts with that. Clear examples and starting internally first. So what I mean by that is, we're going to implement the AI journey, start it internally first. Agent assist, if you will, right? So the agents are comfortable with it. They're learning from it, and then they're feeding it and empowering it, right? Because a great AI technology is built on two things, right? It's built on data hygiene, and whatever level that's at, and then the configuration of it and the people behind it, they're kind of building it, right? So empower them, bring them on the journey, right? Help them design and build it, but start internally first, because then they'll see and feel how it does help them make their job easier, right? Less clicks, maybe less chair swiveling, right? Better work environment, right? Now they're providing a better experience. So then they take that fear of it's going to take my job, goes away. And it's like, it's actually made my job easier, right? And now those transactional items that I used to be frustrated with dealing with all the time, whether it's password reset, account updates, where's my delivery, where's my shipment, give me a status. Those are happening already. And I can now have genuine conversations with the customer.
Awesome. So it's all about empowering and involving them. And maybe I will add a third one, which is educate your employees on how it's going to impact and empower them to have genuine conversations with the client.
And I think that's a great addition. It reminds me of the why, right? You start with the why, you end with the why, and that will give them their answer of, yes, that's why we're using it. That's why it's not going to take my job.
So, how do you see this? You are big on developing talent and creating leadership opportunities. Now, in current DNA age, with all these technological advancement and AI happening, if you had to build an ultimate CX team from scratch today, what are the top 3 qualities you will look for?
I have a three things I look for when I'm interviewing and hiring. And I'll morph it a little bit. The first thing is this individual, are they capable of absorbing change. And because in customer support, there's a lot of change every day, right? Are they capable of absorbing change and learning and growing from it? And I'll lead into the second one, which is this individual team member coachable, right? And I combine that one with, are they a forever learner? Do they want to continue to learn, right? And then the third one that I'll add is, do they seek to understand before being understood, right? And that's one of those 7 habits out there. But I always, and that's, you find that through genuine conversation. Is this person curious? Are they going to listen to the customer as they're venting and really listening for what's happening, right? So do they seek first to understand before being understood? Because that's the key to customer support right there. So those are the 3 things, because I find with that, on top of the hard skills, right? If I need someone that knows Excel, we'll vet that out, right? If I need someone that's really great at writing, we'll vet that out. But those 3 areas there, through conversations, through their storytelling, right? Through their reference checks, if you will, that's what I'm looking for. And then the fourth, if you will, I'd add is, don't be afraid, and I've done this before, don't be afraid to go out the sphere of your industry to bring in other talent. You don't have to have the SaaS person that's always worked in SaaS. Maybe the hardware individual can come over, bring a new perspective. So don't be afraid to do that either.
Awesome. So it's more, the way you have said, very brilliantly put, like technical skills are something which can be acquired. But it's all about, as an individual, your attitude to learning, your attitude to being open-minded, to listen, to acquire knowledge is very critical in setting up this team in today's age.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So that I've been in US now, trying to expand XEBO.ai, which is a CX platform with a lot of AI capabilities, helping businesses make real-time decisions. We are seeing, while companies are collecting tons of data, many still struggle to turn it into actionable insight. And in your BPO industry, there is huge volume of data which is coming in structured, unstructured form every day, flowing in. So from your experience, how BPOs and consulting firms leverage AI for actionable initiatives without losing the human touch? How do you see that? How can BPOs function?
It builds from what I mentioned earlier, right? I'll kind of build on that brick that I laid out, which is starting internally, right? Because you start internally and get those internal wins, you're also understanding the level of hygiene your data has, right? And then you're also understanding from the agent, what is it that the support team out there, the BPO team, what is it that they're doing that's transactional that the AI can help with, right? I think starting internally there, and especially with the massive amount of data. And I like the number kind of 3, right? Pick 3 areas in which we believe the AI can help us, right? Is it with customer onboarding? Is it with knowledge and education for the customer? Is it on the sales side? When it comes in, can the AI help us with our data detect that this is a possible upsell or renewal opportunity without having that conversation, so we can get that to the right team, right? The right specialty team if needed. So I always say, and take your time, right? Take your time. Don't, get those wins early first internally, celebrate them, make sure leadership understands them, and then plot the external wins that we're about to implement with the customer, right? And then I always say, market it and celebrate any achievement that happens. So if the goal is we're going to implement and roll out our chat bot with this level of AI, we know it's going to solve 5% cases up front, but it happens to solve 4, celebrate that 4%. Right? Then set the target up next, and just keep steady goals as you're implementing the AI. Don't try to hit the home run at once, right? With baseball season here, I'll use that theme. Just come up, get on base, celebrate that, and then the next batter comes up and we just start moving down the road. Next thing you know, 6 months, 9 months goes by, maybe CSAT goes up, maybe that FCR gets better, maybe the handle time improves. And I don't want to use the word deflection, but maybe self-help now has improved. And then the other thing too is, and this is an often overlooked area because we're always thinking about the customer, of course. AI can help improve the knowledge base that the customers use and the internal employees use, because they really should be the same.
Yeah, that's an awesome piece of advice because I feel it's applicable for any transformative initiative which is happening in the organization. So you start slow, you start small, you start slow, and you celebrate whatever initial success you get to make it a rallying call for others to adopt and follow. So it's definitely, I think any transformation you are doing, you can follow the advice that you just gave.
No, absolutely. Start small and celebrate all the way through.
And how challenging does it get? Because with the rise of remote work and global teams, managing culture in BPOs and consulting firms is getting trickier than ever now. So, how do you create an environment where people feel connected, motivated, and ready to deliver top level CX to their customers?
This is a passion topic of mine, one of my passion topics, because it's a fundamental for all of us leaders in any industry, right? Anything, any leadership role. Having a clear, organized, updated single source of truth, the SSOT, especially in this remote workforce where people are all over the globe, different time zones, right? There is no whiteboard in the office in my days where everybody could come in and see what's happening. Those days they're not here anymore. Single source of truth, right? That the team goes to answer their questions of who they are, what they do, what their purpose is, what their role is, right? Make it fun, make it personal as well. And then it's the house for your processes, your procedures. It's the internal knowledge base. It stores your meeting minutes for your team. And that becomes the hub where everyone goes. So that creates that sense of home base. And then I'm going to go into every support leader. And this is something I've been talking about recently. Got to have a strong communication compass, right? Very strong communication compass where you have a set schedule of the appropriate team meeting, right? The appropriate one-on-one meeting with your direct reports, no matter where they're at. And then the key stakeholder and partner meetings that you need to have in the organization, whether it's with your business partner in HR, whether it's with marketing, whether it's with sales, whether it's with product development, those key. And then having a strong documentation, right? Making sure you're capturing meeting minutes so that everybody who can attend the meeting or is in a different time zone gets the actions out of there or the takeaways that need to be done. I'm a big believer in communicating a support report throughout the company, which celebrates the team, but also how we're servicing the customer, how we're supporting the customer, what they're saying, VOC, if you will. And then making sure you have a strong weekly report with your leadership and with your peers coming to you. So with that strong communication compass, that single source of truth, that sets the culture for a remote team to be together and work through any challenges. I'm not saying now it's perfect, but now you're set up to work through challenges and communicate effectively, like we talked about earlier, set those expectations, manage them, and celebrate them.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, are there any real examples where actually you have seen this entire process being done?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. In the previous chapter, I had the opportunity to come in and lead a call center, about 30 people local, and then 65 people remote. And I tell this story. One of the higher performing employees on the remote team, right? We called them the digital team. Was a woman who traveled through South America, but worked her shift every day from coffee shops, restaurants, wherever, and had not just had great metrics, but gave a great customer experience. And it became a theme. Like, hey, I'm just gonna throw a name out there. Jennifer, where are you at today? Oh, I'm in Bogota, Colombia at this coffee shop. And, but you would see the tickets working, right? Same thing around the United States. When I went in, one of the opportunities I saw was there wasn't a established single source of truth. There were a couple different ones that different teams kind of put together for themselves. And then one of the opportunities there, the challenges was there was a little bit of friction in the communication. And it was because nobody knew what everybody was doing because they had separate sources of truth. So we kicked off a project, right, to unify them. And, we took a leader so we selected a leader from each team, each department to come together as a tiger team, right? And then create this new single source of truth. And my guide and my direction was go do it. Here are some options for tools. You know the goal, the why, and get it done. What we saw with that was improved culture, right, between the phone team and the digital team, because now they felt like one team, right? So absolutely.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing a real life example. I think real life stories, real life examples are something which actually help you to get inspired. So that's beautiful. So I also know that you are a technologist, you are a yogi, you are, of course, a leader. You also added that you are a sports person. Now, which honestly sounds like a perfect balance of strategies and marathon runner, execution, everything. So, how does this mix shape the way you approach your leadership in such a high pressure industry?
It's my thinking time. It's the time I invest into myself, right? It's my time. Sometimes it's just 20 minutes, right? Today, after we wrap up talking, I'm going to just go run a mile and a half just to get that out, because that's the time I have, right? It's my thinking time. It's time to refill my tank, right? To give me that energy back, right? But what I found, especially in this later part of my career, it's really been beneficial for problem solving, right? Sometimes when I'm really stumped on something, it could be, and sometimes there are more often than not the people challenges of managing people. How do I navigate this personality, or what am I going to do in this situation? Or these two folks aren't, I need time to think. I find myself that as I go out, I put my earbuds in, I listen to my house music, and I just go. And it gives me that feeling of, okay, and then I just start thinking. And sometimes I don't solve the problem, but what happens is I get thoughts of other things, and that's very helpful. So I found that to be my, use the word balance. That's my balance, right? And I know that, and I know it's working, because when I don't go out and run for whatever reason, after a few days, people get hangry, people get a lot of, cranky, whatever. I get a certain way, and I know it's because I haven't ran. You haven't got those endorphins out, right? You haven't gotten out there and get that sweat out. So that's what it's been for me. It's the separation. And sometimes when I don't even want to do it, even after a long day, is when I really need to do it. And that's when I tell myself,
Absolutely.
this is when you go run, Andrew. This is when you go run. So
No, absolutely. I love that thing, getting the balance right. In fact, it works even for me. And I would definitely take your advice. I mean, the moment I am stuck, I would say, Anand, this is the time you have to do it. So it's
yep,
perfect. Many times, getting into sports, going for a long walk, or even going on a hike actually helps you to unwind, to get started again. Maybe take two steps back to run a marathon.
absolutely. I do these walk and talks. One of my
Mhm.
things is with one-on-ones with my direct employees. If we're local, let's go take a walk, right? Let's take a walk, a little 15-minute walk, gets you thinking, gets you focused, right?
That's awesome. So that brings us to our unwinding part of the podcast, which is the rapid fire questions. Very
Uh-oh.
simple, straightforward questions to you. So are you ready, Andrew?
I'm ready. I always love these.
Absolutely. Even I love these questions because they bring out the spontaneity in people. Let's start with the first one. What's the first app you check when you wake up?
Oh, I know the answer. I'm not delaying it. It's just funny because everybody's gonna be like, "I know that's it." It's LinkedIn. It is
Uh-huh,
LinkedIn. I
uh-huh.
give myself 15 minutes before I look at my phone, but then it's LinkedIn.
Awesome. One word your team would use to describe you.
Um, wow, a couple. One word. Encouraging.
Awesome. I would, based on my interaction with you, I would describe you as energetic.
That was the first one, but I think that lately it's been encouraging. We've been having some great vulnerable conversations where that's coming out.
Okay. Next one, tea or coffee? What
Oh,
would you like
coffee,
to take? Coffee.
coffee,
Okay.
coffee, all day, every day, multiple cups.
What is your go-to productivity hack other than going on a marathon?
Um, my phone is over there, but voice notes, voice notes, and I
Ah,
do those when I'm running. I'll say, hey, I don't want to say the name because it'll start popping up. Take a note. And then I'll just take a note, right? And I do that while I'm driving, while I'm walking, while I'm coaching my soccer or football or basketball teams, the voice note.
I understand you are a technologist and you are using technology to full advantage.
You know,
Awesome.
I'm gonna squeeze one more in because I think everyone would love this one. Grayscale on your phone. So my iPhone is in black and
Uh-huh.
white. I've turned the color off.
Okay.
So I don't it doesn't distract me anymore. It's just a black and white phone. So I when I open it, the cool colors don't distract me. I know exactly where I'm going, what I'm doing.
Awesome. Awesome. An unforgettable customer experience that you have personally had.
Oh yes. I was at Dodger Stadium a couple years ago, um, with the family, and I purchased my adult beverage, right? And I was, halfway through it, getting in line to get the nachos and the tacos for the family. Standing there, watching the game on the TV, enjoying a great night, right? Great night. Couple kids in front of me, being kids, rough housing, bouncing around, teenagers, being teenagers, right? One bumped into me, spilled my beer all over me. Um,
Mhm.
first it's like, oh my God, a $100 beer just spilled, right? Prices out there. But and then I thought, hey, it's okay, kids, don't worry about it. A Dodger employee, a gentleman pushing the garbage from one side of the lobby to the other, right? The outdoor area, came up to me, said, hey, I got your beer. I was like, no, what? No, it's okay. No worries, no worries. No, it's okay. It's okay. He goes, no, I got it. Come with me.
Awesome.
And I said, no, no. Please, I insist. And I thought, okay, sure. So he walked me over to the next area, said, hey, this guy's beer spilled. I'm buying him one today. The lady poured it like nothing, handed it back over to me. And he's like, have a great night tonight. And what that registered for me as what I say as student of the customer experience was that's the culture they were instilling at Dodger Stadium for all employees, right? I call it that
Great.
unreasonable hospitality, right? They said, if you see something, make it right? That he must have saw that little interaction and saw how maybe I reacted, which is I didn't get upset. I didn't get it. Hey, life happens. It's all good. And said, I'm going to take care of that guy over there. Great experience, right? Would have never thought that. And I tell that story all the time. And I'm not even a
Awesome.
Dodger fan.
And what a great story and an example to end our podcast today, Andrew. It's been wonderful speaking to you. I think you shared some valuable advice for the leaders on how they should involve and empower the team in bringing about any transformation. Also, great advice on how they can go slow, they can go in small, and then celebrate the story, celebrate the initial success, tell those stories internally to motivate the team. So thank you for all the experiences that you have shared today in this podcast. And to my podcast audience, like if you have found today's podcast insightful, be sure to follow and subscribe to the Experience Beyond podcast. Your reviews help others discover these impactful conversations that we bring with some of the CX experts globally. A heartfelt thanks to you, Andrew, for sharing this expertise and passion with us today. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much for having me. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Have a great one. Do well. Be good.
So until next time, I'm Anand Nigam, encouraging you to continue pushing the boundaries of customer experience. Thanks for listening and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.